Are you guys familiar with the Sutro Library as well? Sutro Library is part of the California Library System. It's in, it's near the National Archives. It's another genealogy library you can go to and see what they have.
Is it like adjacent, immediately walking distance adjacent
It's
to
on,
the NAM?
no, it's near the Stonestown Mall.
Stonestown.
And it's right beside the San Francisco State Campus. It's on Winston Drive. And it's called the Sutro Library, S-U-T-R-O. And they also have an online catalog, so you can see what they might have.
Can you just go in and get
Yep.
an appointment?
No, it's a regular library. They have books on the shelves, they have microfilm, they have everything. You know, the resources are there, you just have to have the time to go and use them. But please do check out Family Search too, because you'll be surprised, they are working so hard to get everything digitized. I don't know what Ancestry.com's gonna do once Family Search becomes
How are they funded, do you know?
the Mormon Church.
The FamilySearch.com? Oh.
It's the genealogy arm of the Mormon
I
Church.
see.
But again, they've got everybody on there, not just every little country, everything. So, very useful site.
I think if you're a member of the church, you have to tithe 10%.
That's right. That's right. And the reason is, and I don't want to speak about it because I'm not Mormon, I don't know, but there is some ceremonies that they do with the ancestors, and that's why it's so important for them to get and preserve all these records. And I'm grateful to them for that, for sure. Let's do her.
You mentioned the census. Is there a way, how do you go back and find the census, this information?
I would go to FamilySearch.org or Ancestry.com because they have all the census records online.
Wow.
And you can search by your ancestor's name, and it will come up, and 1930 all the way back to 1790
Wow.
is
Is it the
available.
1940 out?
1940, I'm glad you asked about that. I'm so excited. It's coming out next year, and it's probably going to take about 6 months for them to index it, so you can find your family in the 1940 census. I can't wait. So every 10 years or every 12 years they come out with the next census.
Oh, so the most current one is 1940?
The most current one is 1930. And so probably about 18 months from now, we'll have access to the 1940
So they
census.
let it out on the,
Yeah, every 10 to 12 years, because they have this rule that, and the average lifespan is 72 years, so after 72 years, we will release
So it's public.
the census. It's public information.
But before that, you can't
Yeah.
see.
That's right. So yes, please do use the census records, because that's going to give you so much information to write about, and you'll really get focused on, oh, I didn't know they worked in a mill. Oh, I didn't know that this person, who's this person living with this family? I mean, it starts a whole ball of questions for you. And it's fun, and it's free. FamilySearch.com, FamilySearch.org, free. Yes.
So my question's related. Can you suggest any other free online, if you're sitting at home on your computer, can you suggest any other free?
Free websites.
Yeah.
If your family
It's-
lives.
And like the city, the city records.
City directories, yeah. I would while I'm doing this project, I would sign up for Ancestry.com's free trial period, which I think is a week or two. And then I would just use,
Is it a month? Oh, a month?
well, then I would just use that, and I would go crazy as long as possible on that until I'm done with this project. And then I would definitely use Family Search as much as possible. And then there's a website called usgenweb.org, usgenweb.org. And that, it will go through, and you can pick a state to focus on. So if your folks came to California, pick California, and all sorts of volunteers have collected information there. And it's not as good as Family Search or Ancestry, but it's free, and there's usually some information there that you don't see elsewhere.
So almost all city records, you have to go to that city or county?
Yes. If you wanted to get city directories, some of them are available on Family Search, some of them are available on Ancestry. A lot of them have not been put online, and you would have to call a library in that town and pay someone to make photocopies for you. So it's tedious, it gets,
Possible.
yeah, but it's great to have that information if you can. And then the vital records, I'm not sure what time period you're working in, but then you can write to the county clerk and order death certificates and things like that. Because not all of it's online. Especially with death certificates, a lot of it's not online.
I think they pulled a lot of them off because of the stolen identity problem.
Yeah, and that's a very,
Yeah,
very
because
good
they used to
point.
be for Contra Costa County, you could look them up, but they pulled them all off online.
Yeah. And it's, for me, it's a shame, but I can definitely understand why they did
Yeah,
that. So.
yeah, I did the same.
And it's also a good point of how you talk about the living, like for your book. You have to be sensitive about people who are still alive. You know, I was a little bit afraid to talk about Haruo because he's still alive, even though he's 101 years old. I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to tell his business to everybody here, but he just has an interesting story, and but I have to be sensitive. I wouldn't want to write a bunch of stuff down about all his date of birth and all that sort of information because of that. So you have to be sensitive. So for looking at things online, I think there's a lot out there, but then there's going to have to be some letter writing going on.
Can you just Google a name?
Yeah, yeah. And that's a good free thing is the Google Archives newspapers. Sometimes you can find people on that. Google News, and then you do an advanced search, and you can go back to 19 or even 1870 and Google a name there.
Are they news for what locale, what area?
And you could put that in there as well. So I would say this person's name, San Francisco, and then I would choose the time frame, 1870 to 1890.
Really?
And then it may come up with something.
So Google News.
Google News. And then it may come up with some opportunities that you have to pay for. And so you have to decide whether you so. Newspapers are a great way to really make your ancestor come alive, because you can read about
Oiesen.
Yeah, yeah.
They only have, is it only US news?
I've seen it's mainly U.S. papers. There are 2 paid services called Genealogy Bank and Newspaper Archive that have some international papers. Once you start getting into newspapers, you start to realize that, oh, it's not available online. I'm going to have to look at it on microfilm, and it's housed in some tiny library in the town that had that newspaper. And that's part of the reason I was in New England, is I couldn't get the microfilm any other way other than going there. So you have to work within your boundaries. So how about any other records? Has anyone else had a chance to find anything good? Any vital records, or anybody writing for death certificates or birth certificates? Or I have a question. Is anyone writing about someone a really long time ago, like early 1800s or even before then? No. Okay. That's good. I mean, there's just so much more information in the early 20th century and the late 19th century that you guys can draw upon.
I have a question about the font,
Mm-hmm.
the sans serif and the serif.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like William Pond, that we're limited to those 2.
That's sort of like a broad category. So there's, underneath serif fonts, there are a million different types of fonts you can choose that have those little feet on them. And under sans serif, there are a million different ones you can choose on that don't have those little feet. But most fonts have one or the other. They either have feet or they don't have feet. So just something for you to look at. I looked on Blurb really quick. I don't know if they have any other special fonts you can use, but it only looked like there was about 4 different fonts you could choose, and only one of them was serifed, which I thought was a little strange, but you know, that way you can decide what you want to do. Do you want to make just the text serifed and do your headlines in the other one, or do you want to do it all in the same thing? Something to look at. So, any other questions? We finished up a little early. So, So I'm gonna stay after, and if you wanna talk one-on-one about your topic idea and talk about an outline, I'm available to do that too. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. Oh, one more question.
I was just gonna ask if you use a scanner, and if you do, what kind of features you would recommend?
I do use a scanner, and I'm not particular about it as long as I can get a nice clear image from it, and then I take it into Photoshop or to some other software so I can make it look good and crop it appropriately. So, how about you? Have you scanned many documents before? Or?
Well, no.
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Is this quality of scanners really high like everything else? I mean, in the old days, what you could buy for home use was not
Right.
terrific, but now pretty much you can get a pretty good quality
You
scanner.
you can buy the cheapest $50, $40 scanner, and it will be beautiful.
Ah, okay, that's
Yeah.
good.
It's amazing.
I think Ryan said we could use the scanner here.
Oh, that's
Or-
Yeah,
great.
but we have one here, so I think the open hours for the computer lab, or, you know, if you wanna just call them and make an appointment to come in to scan some photos, we do have a scanner here. It's not a real high resolution one, but it's pretty decent. We use it for all of our stuff.
I've just started, because a lot of people have sent me things over the years, and the quality of it has been kind of lousy. They've made things on photocopiers and things.
Yeah.
And I've gone back to those people and I said, okay, now that you have a digital camera, can you take a picture of that for me? Or now that you have a scanner, can you do a scan of it? And I'm so glad that I'm asking, because now I'm getting these beautiful pictures, whereas before I had a black and white photocopy of it. So, something you can ask.
So a high-end camera would maybe make a better image, final image, than like photocopying the photograph, and then, I mean, if you had a
Yeah.
good camera, you took a good picture, you might be able to get a better.
I would say it could be equal to a scanner, a good scanner that has a high enough resolution on it. And also, you don't have to worry about the angle of things,
Right. Yeah.
getting that perfect angle.
Exactly.
But I'm of the school of you get what you can get, and you present it as best as you can.
Right.
And that's what it is, and your grandchildren can fix it later. Well, thank you very much. I'm gonna stay up here, and you come and tell me what your ideas are, and we can talk about
I
outlines.
think Ryan left, but I think we could thank Corey for